Hey everyone, John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com, and today I want to talk to you about a way that you can be more effective as both a teacher and a student. So a lot of people have trouble teaching. Teaching is not the easiest thing to do. I've had to learn it myself just over the years from doing a lot of teaching, and I'm still getting better at it every single day. I still have a lot of weaknesses, but I've sort of developed a technique or three main things that you need to really do to be most effective when teaching. And you can turn this around and apply this to learning as well. So if you want to be able to learn things effectively, you can just reverse this and use this same kind of technique to teach yourself. In fact, I really encourage you to learn how to teach yourself, because that's the best way to learn something is when you are your own teacher. So here's the basic technique that I've developed, and you can of course expand this out, but these are three major things that you need to be able to do and communicate in order to teach something well. The first thing is to show what the big picture is. So you need to really define what the topic is and what exists, especially in technology. In technology, one of the most confusing and frustrating things is trying to understand how big that thing is. So how do I grasp a language, a computer language like C#? How big is that? What can I do with it? If I want to learn a technology like a web technology, let's say WordPress. This is a good one. A lot of WordPress bloggers out there are bloggers wanting to set up a WordPress site on their own. What is there? What is the scope of this? What things can I do? What type of topics do I need to learn about? So you want to be able to set this context so that someone can understand exactly how big the field is and what there is to know. Once you've done that, it helps your mind, it helps the person that's learning, it helps their mind to be able to realize that it's not so overwhelming, it's not so big, it's not so hard. There's a handle on this thing, there's a beginning and an end to this, it has a size and a shape. So that's number one. Number two is you need to show them how to get started. So especially with technology, one of the hardest things is getting started. There's a lot of different technologies that I've worked with where I've wanted to learn how to do this thing, and the one thing that stopped me from doing it is I didn't know where to get started. I didn't want to spend hours trying to research how to get started with something. I just wanted someone to show me, hey, just show me how to set up the simple Hello World program, how to just get started and create my first thing. When I first learned Android development and first learned iOS development, it was the same thing. I just needed to get started. Once I got started, once I saw how to create a basic application and put some buttons on the screen, then everything was much easier from there forward because I knew the basics. I knew how to get started. So that's number two. You have the big scope. You know how big this thing is. That's number one. Number two is you know how to get started. You've taught someone how to get started with the technology or whatever they're learning. And then the third thing is the basics. What is the most important thing they need to know? Now, a lot of books that I read, the authors make a huge mistake here. What they do is they give me everything. They give me a 1,000-page book and they tell me every single possible method call and every single thing that exists, and I don't know what's important because there's too much. Everything that you do is usually condensed down to a few simple tasks that you repeatedly do. And that's the thing that you need to communicate and teach. You don't want to be a reference guide. Now, some people do put together a reference guide, and if you're trying to do that, that's fine. But for the most part, the most effective thing is to show someone what they need to know at a minimum in order to be the most effective. And then what's going to happen is, because you gave them this big picture, because you've shown them already what there is to know and what the scope of the thing is, when they need more information, they already know how to get started at this point. They know the basics, so they can fill in the details. They can fill in the rest of the stuff later. If you're showing some new technology and you show someone the basics of how to get started, how to use it, you tell them what the scope of it is, and you cover some of the basic features, well, when they try to figure out something else that they want to do that you didn't cover, since they know it exists, they know what to search for, and they can find that specific information, and they have a good base to go from. So this is something that I found over the years that has helped me to be able to teach things, helped me to be able to learn things, and hopefully it'll benefit you. Whether you're teaching or you're trying to learn yourself, you need to make sure that you hit these 3 things. And you can really cover them in any order. It doesn't matter, so long as you're hitting those 3 things. And if you do a lot more than that, what ends up happening is people get overwhelmed and they tend to get confused. So hopefully this has helped you. If you like these videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel here, and check me out at simpleprogrammer.com. Thanks, and I'll talk to you next week.